Hi, everybody. Welcome back. My name's Maria. This is Conversations with Mother Earth. and I have to tell you, I just had a very interesting meditation. And I'm a little bit like, about the whole thing. But I do, before I jump into that, I do want to say today that I really want to talk about emotion. And I want to talk about like feelings and emotion and this emotional body that we have as human beings. And what it's all about. Like, let's get some general information, what spirit thinks, what the Akashic Records thinks, even what Mother Earth thinks about our emotional or spiritual emotional nature. I was going to say spiritual nature, but that's interesting too. About our emotions and how they serve us, and sometimes even how they can hold us back, how to work with them. So often I think in some of my meditations that the messages that I receive, and also messages for others, if I do readings for other people, is allowing emotion to behave like a wave or like a windstorm. And whatever emotion comes up, if it's anger, sadness, or joy, gladness, usually it's the more negative ones that we so often attach to ourselves and like ruminate on, right? We have a hard time moving past some of those more harsh emotions. Treating it as a windstorm or as a wave and allowing it to come over you, run through you, work through you, rush through you, feel it, and then allow it to dissipate and move outside of you. Instead of bottling it up and holding on to it, as that wave moves through you, instead of holding on to it here, allow it to just be. Allow your thoughts to calm around that, and don't attach meaning to it, and don't allow yourself to ruminate and think about, oh my gosh, I have so much doubt about myself and I feel uncomfortable and what does this mean about me? Like, I'm such a thinker too. Like, this is so very for me as much as anybody else. You have to let it move through. You have to let like the sadness move through. Anytime we hold on and we linger on it and feel like we need to process it in here, that's a no. That's what we need to be moving away from. We need to turn our thinking minds off and our rationalizing minds off when it comes to these waves of emotion, and just let our body do the work. Because ultimately it just wants to be felt. The emotion that comes up, it just wants to be felt. It wants to be acknowledged. And then we can allow it to then be let go. So, like I said, I've gotten this message multiple times from Spirit, from the Akashic Records, about how to handle these energy waves. And let me remind you, I do not always do the best at remembering that for myself. Thankfully, I have a great group of support, great friends in this who I can be like, man, I am having some crazy emotional outbursts. There was something that I experienced the other day, which is like a prime example of this. I don't know if you guys have ever had this happen, but let me share, because in case you have and you're like, what the heck is going on? Last week, it was right before the full moon. I think it was the full moon. And I might have talked about this in my last episode, I'm not sure, so I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but I, for 3 or 4 days straight, was having these overwhelming emotions about a past life, about an attachment that I had to a past version of myself. And I know it's kind of this, seems a little crazy for those that aren't in it, but for those that have experienced it, then you know what I mean. Like, there's like this visceral emotion that you feel about, well, and mine was specifically about wishing to go back to that, wishing to go back to that lifetime of mine, because I felt so connected to the earth. I felt so in my element. I was so supported by a community of people. I loved where I was. Does this make sense? Yeah. It was a Native American life of mine, and I was a female in that life. And man, I can feel her. I know that she's in me and within me and around me. I get like glimpses or feelings of her, especially if I'm like outside and just loving on nature. But man, these like waves, was crying for days, literally would cry. It was so sensitive for days. Like my heart was yearning to go back to that. It just wanted, it missed it, and because my life now is not that. The experiences that I'm having don't match. It's been a much different ride this time around. And I loved that last one, man. I truly did. So after like 3 days, I was thinking to myself, man, I gotta do something, because this is lingering, the sadness that I'm feeling about this life. And I mean, even in meditation, her spirit came to me, that version of myself came to me and said, I'm here all the time, but we have to let this go. You have to move on in your present and in your now, and, work with what you have. And sure, sure. But man, the emotion that you feel is so powerful and so strong. And like that home feeling that you have about that, it's just wild. So I reached out to my mentor, April, and I was like, girl, I'm going through something. This might be interesting. You might be rolling your eyes at me, but this is what's going on. And so I explained, and I do not know how to get through this. Like, what am I supposed to do? Do you have any advice for me? And her advice was, how very interesting and fitting. It just wants to be acknowledged. That version of you, that life, that aspect of you, it just wants to be acknowledged, and then let it move through you. The problem that I was having was I was holding on to it so strongly. I was ruminating about that life and just thinking about it, and how it feels and what it meant for me. And I was just going and going in my head. But she's so right. And thus, what I've been told myself by spirit, but absolutely forgotten practice, let it come through you, like just that kind of crash, that wave. Acknowledge it in your body. Allow yourself to feel the emotion. And then just say, okay, thank you. Thank you, I love you. And let it go. And let it move on. Let it move through you. It wants to be felt. It wants to be acknowledged. And then that's all. Like, deep healing can happen when you take those steps, when you treat it that way, when you approach the emotion in this way. And I'm telling you, the minute I did that, the minute that I changed my approach, the minute that I was like, okay, you're right. I had that experience. My soul, I felt it, and I loved it. I had it, and I thank you so much for it. And I am so, so grateful that I got to have that experience. So thank you so much. And then just kind of let it go. Not thinking and ruminating and attributing anything, not comparing it to this life even. That doesn't need to happen. Let it go. And I have not I've thought about it, like just the whole experience in general, but I have not had those extreme emotional states. Like, I haven't had the sadness in my chest and the tears since I was able to do that. So I'm so glad I reached out to her. And I have to say, you have to be you just have to be authentic. You have to be authentic. Because if I would have kept that inside of myself, I think I would have driven myself crazy. And most often, I think that the transitions that we go through as we heal ourselves and as we move through this life and as we work towards our purpose and as we integrate our heart into our human life, as we focus on that, the experiences, I imagine, are pretty similar across the board. The deep healings, the integration periods, the lows and the highs, the ecstasy, and then the opposite of what that is. The body aches, like the purging, all of the things that you're experiencing as you're going through this path, as you are choosing you. I imagine that they're pretty similar across the board. Specific, obviously, to your life experience and your whatever you've gone through. But when it comes to the ups and downs, when it comes to being in touch with spirit and being in touch with your heart and your higher self and with prayer and with God, whoever you classify that as, I think all that pattern is probably similar across the board. So if you feel like you need to say some crazy stuff, if you feel like you need to confide, make sure you find the people, find the people that that are going to support you through that. Because April, has been I was going to say blessing in disguise, but no, that's not the right phrase. She has been a blessing, period. She has been someone that I've definitely prayed for as I was starting this journey. Like, I need someone, I need a guide. I need someone that I can discuss things with and talk things through and what have you, and just bounce experience off of. So if you're needing that, then say your damn prayers. Say your prayers, because spirit listens, especially when you're trying to tune into that aspect of yourself, and they will bring to you who you need, right? Overall, that was very long-winded to say. I want to tap in and ask spirit about emotion today, and about any advice that we have for the group, anybody that's interested in listening, and anyone that's interested in listening, anything that I can share with everybody, with myself, all of it. So I think we can just get started. I was going to tell you about my meditation that I had today, but I'm going to process it a little bit and then circle back and maybe tell you in my next session. Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to ask that you go ahead and close your eyes, because I would like to do a few deep breaths. I've already done my grounding meditation. I've already opened up my Akashic records, but I want to go ahead and take some deep breaths and ground myself again in Mother Earth, and open up my channel again and just relax my body. So go ahead and take some deep breaths through your nostrils. Picture that white light, that loving white light above your head. And as you breathe it into your crown and into your third eye space, allow it and draw it down through your throat, your shoulders, your arms, your torso, your belly, your hips, all the way down your legs, through your feet, and down into Mother Earth, becoming a tree. A tree of connection, a tree of life, a bridge between the divine and the earthly. And I'm carrying those roots all the way down into earth as far as that I can possibly take them. Branching off and just kind of digging in. I definitely feel like an empty or an open vessel today, which is a fun feeling. As much light as we can bring to earth as possible right now, and at all times, is incredibly important. And then I want to go ahead and breathe from my roots that I just created, back up through my trunk, my legs. Breathe Mother Earth back up through your body. All the way up your shoulders, your neck, out the top of your head. Carry it up into the sky, into outer space. Up as high and as far as you can possibly take that Mother Earth energy. Like a bridge, like a tree of connection between the two, the divine and the earthly. And I'm trying to draw that all the way back up to Creator, Source, whatever that feels like or looks like to you. And it's almost, when I do this, I like to think of it as like I'm providing source or creator, God, with a direct column of communication between the earth. Almost like that aspect, that big creation, that ball of light, of love, of universal love, can feel for itself this incredible earth energy and experience it itself. That's what I think of when I do this. Almost like a shot of earth. And then go ahead for your last few deep breaths. Breathe that universal love, creator energy down into your chest. And let it live in your heart space. Let your heart just lighten and fill with golden light. First of all, I want to thank you today, all who are here and partaking in this energy transfer, in this energy practice, opening themselves up to allowing divine universal love light to come into this earth, and then stretching that beautiful earth energy all the way back up to universal love and light. I love that we get to do this every single time. I ask to be forever and always a clear channel, a clear messenger, full of truth and love for those that need to hear or want to hear, or just enjoy hearing and feeling the energy while we're in the space. I want to thank the Divine Feminine for guiding us the past few sessions, to reminding us that our heart is the utmost authority and leader in our own lives, and that we are 100% divine and 100% human. And we integrate both of those in our heart space. What's funny is my baby's kicking in my belly. I wonder if she feels the energy too today. She's letting us know she's awake and with us. So I thank you with the opportunity to be able to do this. And I ask that those are ready to be awaken and know that they can do this as well. All are welcome and all can reach these same places. It's about choosing yourself. It's about choosing love. Yeah, and I thank you. Okay, so today I want to start by asking about emotion. I want to talk about emotion today and how it helps us and how it hinders us and everything that we can learn about emotion and our own emotional states, our own emotional bodies. So the first thing that I'm seeing is like a human form with a the first image that I saw was a human form, and then almost like this ball of energy or ball of light around it. And it's not like framing it, but it's just kind of like this circle around it. And the impression that I received was that as our emotional body, I guess you could say, is forever being interacted with from the outside world. Like it's always getting like hits of things, not punches, but it's like, and as something comes through, it's almost like ripples and acts like an energy wave. And as this emotion or as this something interacts with your emotional body, it wants to like ripple through and move through the space. And it's almost like it's a visual, it feels like, of what's happening as you get hit with some emotion or as you get inundated with, it's almost like experience too. But it's, when you drop a rock in the pond and you see the ripples, like the circles, it's kind of like that as the emotion hits this circle of energy. It wants to wave, like circle out and move through. All right, what does this represent? What does this mean? Yeah, it's the pattern by which the energy it moves. It moves through your own space. Is it always being interacted with from outside of us, or do we get hits? Does it come from inside? Oh yeah. Okay. So of course, like I was thinking of like this 2D like circle around us, but no, it's like this whole bubble. Like, yeah, it's a bubble around us, front, back, side to side. And yeah, as it emanates from our heart space, creates these ripples as we move through. And the emotion that I got from my heart space was like love or joy or overwhelming happiness and gladness. Mine, I was equated to like my children. This like overwhelming sense of love. Yeah, and it moves through out in all directions. Like sound waves is what it looks like, kind of. Like, when you see, when you see the diagrams in science books, like the echolocation, where it just kind of like, oh my gosh, yeah, it just kind of like pulses through or moves through a container, especially water, I guess, but even like the air. But think of it as a container, and it just moving through, and it creates this like waves. I feel like I've described it enough. Yeah, it comes from the outside of us. It comes from around us as experience, but also can come from our heart. And actually, I'm also seeing where it can come from different parts of our body, where we store emotion. And I'm seeing like my hip, like in my hip area. If I'm triggered by fear, is what I'm getting specifically, that space will radiate that feeling. Wow, this is awesome. Like it will release, the fear will come from there and radiate through my body. Is fear always held in the hips, or is that just me? No, emotions travel all around the body. They can be stored in many places. How do you move? How do you dislodge the fear from your hips or from other parts of your body? Wow, and now I'm being shown like a female in her whole kind of like uterine space, from hip to hip and through that middle section, all full of emotional sphere, like think just like wrapped in a colored cloud. And these are emotions tied to those spaces. And it's no wonder that we have that there are so many symptoms that come from this physically. Being overweight in that area, holding on to weight. I'm thinking like endometriosis or like womb issues. Trouble like bleeding naturally. Any of those things that you can think of where it causes just an imbalance can all be reflective of this emotion. How and why does this happen? How is this possible that it affects the body in this way? It's almost like the organ systems and just your body in general want to be able to breathe and have this breathe in and out of energy in those spaces. It wants to kind of give and receive freely. No restrictions. And that's kind of the analogy that I feel like I'm getting. Breathing in those spaces, being able to breathe, let energy or air in and out and in and out. And when you have this emotion, it's kind of like it locks things in so that then those systems can't breathe in and out again. They're not getting the energy flow that they need to in those spaces. So it holds them in, it kind of stagnates them so that they aren't able to function at like 100%. Oh, and then I'm seeing the energy bubbles around like, is it your kidneys or is it your liver? I think it's the liver. Yeah, and it prevents that whole system from being able to move freely, from breathing and expanding, functioning properly. Tell me more about what this represents. Yeah, the human body was meant to be in a flow state. In this give and take of energy. It was meant to be fluid. And with the attachment of emotion, the lingering emotion causes extreme imbalance in the body. And I'm being shown that one thing that you can do is you can, like energy work, actually using your hands and energy and lifting that stuck energy or emotion out, like literally picking it up and dropping it off, like a Reiki practice of sorts, a clearing. And it feels like that people that do this well, that are energy clearers and practitioners, I think people can see where these emotional, and they're colored. I'm getting like blues and greens actually. Yellows, greens. I wouldn't doubt if they can see the blockages. And it feels like just an energy cloud. It really does. That's at least the visual that I'm getting. That you can kind of like manipulate with your hands and move out and clear out and pick up and just get rid of and like be gone kind of thing. Okay, so if energy work is one way of releasing these emotional blockages, what are some other ways that we can do this? I'm getting two things. Being in nature, and I'm just seeing someone taking walks outside and being in the forest. I'm also thinking of forest bathing. Something with the trees, I feel like can help break up some of the stuck energy if you ask them to. And I'm seeing somebody leaning up against a tree and asking for assistance in this. And truly, I'm seeing like womb blockages. I don't know why specifically, or if that's just in reference to what we're talking about. But if that is something that perhaps you have, then maybe try this out. And it's also this feeling of like, I'm unsafe, or I'm unsafe in my body. It has a lot to do with the root chakra in this spot, I think. And some of those, what's the word? Characteristics. But in being in a spiritual connection with the tree and asking the tree for assistance to help with those blockages, to release those, I'm getting fears, to release those emotions That could help as well. And I'm also getting like, if you have like thoughts, maybe overwhelming thoughts or things going on in your head, you can also have those thoughts release. And I'm seeing like little tendrils of energy coming out like the crown of your head. And releasing when you're out in nature too. I think this happens naturally in nature. And I have a like noticeable lifting in my head. The heaviness sometimes that comes along with overthinking feels like it has been lifted or removed, so that I don't have an overwhelming amount of like mental chatter happening. Being outside just in fresh air, walking, can definitely help that. And when you can get yourself into this natural state of flow and natural state of being, like being outside and walking and allowing that energy or those thoughts to remove themselves, you are almost like cocooned in this flow state. I'm seeing like a bubble. It's almost kind of like you're like boing, boing. You're existing in your human. You're existing in your human, how you're meant to. And it feels like more of a playground then. Just kind of walking on air, being buoyant, not so heavy. What are some other ways that we can work through these stuck emotions that you're showing me? It almost feels like being in meditation like this helps. Doing visual meditations, like clearings, if you will. I don't know if you have ever done a meditation, like a clearing meditation. But doing things like that where you kind of examine different parts of your body or different systems within yourself and noticing where you might have something stuck or some attachments. Doing that can definitely help as well. And also exercising, it feels like I'm seeing somebody hitting a punching bag. And like kind of getting out that rage or that anger as they punch. Allows it to dislodge from your body and gives it a place to go. And I'm feeling that actually around my heart or in my chest. The anger. And just someone punching a punching bag like, rah! Oh my gosh. But yeah, it helps like kind of move it and move it out. Where do I have stuck emotion in my own body? Yeah, it feels like mine's in my hips and in my womb more so. It's almost like this green energy bubble that's just kind of like wrapping itself around that part of my body. What is this tied to exactly? Mine says not being able to walk where I've wanted to walk for over years and years in my life. Not being able to venture to the places that I've personally wanted to. But instead have walked where others have asked me to instead. Or gone, you know. Tell me more. What does this represent? And it's almost like a releasing now. I'm almost releasing it out the back end of me. Not feeling like my voice is safe enough to follow. And actually, I think a lot of this is tied to my mom. There's some mother energy here. Of feeling like I had to follow an authority to tell me what to do. A lot of dismissing of my own wants and needs. All right, can we work on releasing some of this today? And I feel called to say, I promise myself, I promise my heart and my soul that I will listen to me. That I am safe to walk where my heart leads me, where I choose. And I do not need to ask others at any point anymore of their opinion of my path, or their guidance even. I can walk with clear direction from my own discernment, and I'm safe to do this. Because I know what's best for me. And also, I know I'm okay to be free to be me, if that makes sense. I'm free to be who I am and live what I want. And that space does feel lighter. Almost like it's coming forward and saying, like, here I am. All right, well, thanks for being with me as we work through some of that. I think, though, it is a really great example of ways we can continue to check in with our body. I almost can feel it, like, in my hips and in my rump, like even in that back end. Of feeling like there's more flow. That's what it feels like. There's more airflow. There's more space. There's more space. And I do want to say thank you for the experience. I acknowledge where these stuck emotions come from. And thank you for getting me to where I've needed to be, but also it's time to release them and know that I love all aspects of this journey. I'm thankful for all of the steps that I get to take and have taken to get to this healing moment. So I thank you for that. And I love you. Awesome. All right, let's ask a few more questions about what are emotions meant to do for us humans? Like, what are they meant to teach us? Or is there a good side to emotion? Oh yeah, emotion is like the feeling of life, of living. Without a feeling, it's just kind of like death. Then there's nothing. The feeling aspect is the aspect that how we know we're alive. If you can't feel anymore, then that's when you need to work. When you need to work on yourself. And figure out what's going on. How do emotions help us as human beings in this life? Or in life, I should say. The elation and the joys, the highs, add color to your story. The elevation of your heart. It's almost like it carries a memory, or it provides a memory, a visceral feeling memory. And it's a marker. It's a marker for that. Like, this is a good sign. When you feel like this, oh yeah, this is a good sign. This is a good thing. So they add color to your story, to your path. And now I'm seeing like ebbs and flows, like hill, valley. But I'm getting the imagery of like allowing the emotions to be like the wind. Allow them to pass through your field. Allow them to pass through your body. Don't allow them to attach and get stuck. The problem is when inside you become like a fly trap where that thing just gets stuck. You have to keep this all open and allow it to move freely back and forth. Through. Tell me what else about emotion. What are the positive aspects of having an emotional body? Oh man, it's like there's the happiness of new life, of new birth, For me specifically, it's this feeling of overwhelming love and joy when you meet your child for the first time. When you birth something into existence. That feeling of elation. What does this represent? Yeah, it's like the experience of being alive. And you know what's funny is they're showing me that movie. Oh, Inside Out. Where you store your emotion based on, like, the emotion and the memory are so tied together. So, like, up on the wall, you know, if you've seen this movie, this Disney movie, the memories have colors. And that's how they're stored and remembered, by the emotion that goes with the memory. That was the visual that they gave me about that. Yeah, but it's like categorizing the major events, the highs and the lows. Emotion helps to do that. Emotion helps to say, this is significant. This is a big part of my life. And then I think as you move on to the other side, whatever that is, you have that receptacle of memory. And I'm seeing someone like after they've passed over, watching the movie of their life and just getting to go through these recaps of the highs and the lows mixed with the emotion. It's like a life in review. And it does feel like all of these experiences are stored. It's like they go into a group portal or a group container, group storage somewhere that you can visit and watch and rewatch and learn from. And it's funny, it's almost like as you get ready to come back to Earth, that's what it feels like. If you're getting preparing for life on Earth, you can go to this place where all this is stored and watch and learn and say, okay, that emotion means that, like that thing, and that's how it feels in the body. It's almost like it gives you a framework to learn from, to understand how to be human, or how to live a human life. Does this make sense? It's like you go to this big library and you sit in front of a screen. There's a huge dashboard, and you can study human emotion and human experience like this. Why is this so is this an interesting thing? Yeah. It's not like this everywhere you travel. And it's not like this everywhere your soul travels. Especially like disappointment is what I'm feeling. And like these drops in your stomach moments, these emotions that you experience, you can't feel that everywhere you go. It's very, I think, unique. And so people can come to this place and watch them and try to get a sense of experiencing them without actually visiting Earth. And they're like, wow. Ooh, what's that feeling? And I think this feeling aspect of life on Earth is such a huge draw. People come here, souls come here for this specifically, to feel emotion, a range of emotion. And I think it's kind of like, well, they want to feel, but they don't understand. But then it's almost like, yeah, when you get here and you're immersed in it, it's almost like, woo. So much deeper than you could have imagined, sitting there somewhere, just watching it on a screen. All right, before we end our meditation today, is there anything else about emotion that would be important for humanity or the collective, this group of people, to know in order to, live in the highest version of themselves? What's so interesting is I'm getting the visual from Wizard of Oz, where they are sitting in that, oh my gosh, remember in the beginning, she finds the traveling, it's not a salesman, but he's kind of like a woo-woo guy. And he has the crystal ball, and they're sitting there looking in the crystal ball. What does this represent? It's like watching life, or watching past experiences in black and white, and just watching them. Tell me more about this. It's you bring the experience and the feelings and the emotion to life inside of you. Like, you color the experience with your emotion. If you could just sit there and look at the perspective, look at the experience you're having, black and white through a crystal ball, with neutrality, then oftentimes I think some of the things that are more, could be deemed as scary or less appealing, or some of those aspects of your life are easier to allow to move through you. You can watch the experiences in neutrality. It's only when we sit and we add color and we add the emotion into an experience that we then make it a part of us, oftentimes in a negative way. So if you're working through something, sit back and reflect. Sit and reflect and look at it like you are a third party, watching it happen if you need to. And just watch from a neutral state. Remove the color and the emotion from the whole experience. And then you can allow it to move through you, move through your heart, process through you, and just kind of release and let it go. Then we avoid the steps of holding on to and attaching it to ourselves. And the image that I'm getting is still like this crystal ball of Dorothy. And it's her watching herself be swept up in the storm, in the tornado. And something that would appear to be traumatic and scary and awful, if you sit and watch it in black and white, in grayscale, without putting emphasis on it, without blame, without emotion, without anything, you just watch it, then you can say, okay, I've sat and I've witnessed it. I'm not going to let it affect who I am today and who I am moving forward. I'm going to release and let this go, because it's not a reflection on who I am as a human being or my human experience. It's not a reflection of what I'm capable of how capable I am of loving, of how capable I am of listening to my heart. And I'm not going to let it interact or interfere with my life anymore. So then we can kind of wipe the crystal ball. You can wipe the screen clean and say, it is time. We move on from this. Thank you. Yeah, that's awesome. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that? The more we can do this, the more that we can sit and work through the things that pop up like this, not only the easier it gets, the quicker it can happen for us, the growth, the change, but also, the more colorful our exterior world becomes. We see more vibrantly, we live more vibrantly. We shed the stuff that doesn't need to be there anymore. And it's almost like it's not about forgiving yourself for anything. It's like you don't need to forgive yourself. That's what I'm getting. It's saying you just need to let the experience, you need to detract the emotion from the experience, look at it in neutrality, just the events, just watch them as a third party and say, okay, I acknowledge that this happened, or I acknowledge this experience. And now I release it and I let it go. And if you need to, say the mantras, say whatever you need to afterwards to bring love into your body, to move that experience through. Yeah, and you get to become a more vibrant version of yourself. Awesome. Yes. And do it as often as you need to. It's not about forgiving. It's just about loving more, deeper, truly, releasing and letting go. Yes, yes, yes. Loved this. Truly loved this. I'm going to go ahead and end it on that note today, since I feel like these keep getting longer and longer. My recording says 60 something minutes, but I'll have to edit some of this out with my drinks of water and my phone ringing. Oh my gosh, every time I'm in here, my phone, I think, beeps off the hook. But for now, I want to say thank you for being here with me. Thanks for experiencing and witnessing my own healing, and hopefully you got to partake in some of your own. And just kind of try the exercise out, reaching in and, getting your hands dirty. The constant healing, man. I'm telling you, it is ongoing and forever and important to do. I've learned that, and I'm obviously very much continuing to learn that as I move through my adult life. Yeah. I would ask if you have any reflections or any thoughts about any of the things that we discussed today. I'd love to hear them. I'd love to hear if you have done any of these practices and if they've worked for you. And also if you've done other things that work for you just as well. Very interested to hear. For now, though, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.